Hello and welcome to our eFaxing training. My name is Alexandra Wade and I am on the iSolve Healthcare team. Thank you everybody for being able to join us today. Today the topic for our discussion is going to be how to utilize the fax inbox within the My Task List, as well as how to actually navigate through the EMR and gather different documents to potentially fax them out of the system. So both an inbound and an outbound electronic faxing discussion. So to get started, we are going to flip over into the database and we're going to be navigating to the upper left-hand corner of the system. Now, this conversation is geared for anyone that is going to have access to the inbound faxes. If you have access to those specific numbers in the database, you will potentially see items displayed within the My Task List under the fax queue. So we're going to dive directly into this fax queue, and you're going to see that it is separated into essentially two different boxes. You have an inbox and you have a sent items. This is displayed in the upper left-hand corner. We have gone ahead and we've opened up the inbox and we're looking at a fax that is sitting inside of the inbox. Now, just like a normal document, you can kind of scroll through this. It appears to be a PDF and that's why it's loading up in the system right here. There's a couple of things that we can do from here. We can actually save this directly to a patient's chart by saving it to the eDocuments. We can send it as a communication. So maybe if we were unsure of where this needed to go or what we needed to do with it, we could send this document as an extension to a PDF or to a communication to someone in the system. Maybe it was junk. We could delete that if we needed to, or you'll even see this grayed out resend fax button. Potentially we had sent something out of the system and it failed. If that's the case, you do have that option to resend that fax if the system did not already try to resend it previously. So looking at this, let's say we want to save this to the patient's chart by saving it to the eDocuments. That's going to open up a window where we can actually give the fax a name. So maybe this was a consent form. And maybe we want to save it directly to a patient's chart. We can actually search for that patient here. And then once we've determined which patient's chart that's going to go to, we're going to dive deep into the navigation to save it directly to a folder. So maybe I wanted to save this to maybe some intake forms under the new patient packet, or if we wanted to put it, somewhere into the patient import or somewhere like that, you can always kind of determine where that's going to go. You'll even see the navigation is displayed here by telling you which cabinet, drawer, and folder you're putting in. Now, the second part to this is how you can assign this document to a recipient for additional reviewing purposes. So maybe we got this document, we've saved it to the eDocs, and I wanted to send it to someone to make sure that everything looked okay. Maybe we wanted to send it to the clinical team or send it to a provider, or maybe billing needed to take a look at it. We could assign this document to a person or a group of people to let them know that they need to review it. We can even put in a nice message here like, please review prior to first appointment on 2/20/2020. Once you're ready, simply hit OK, and that's going to save the document to the patient's eDocuments. It's going to send this as a communication, and it also clears that document out of the inbox. Now, kind of talking about how to actually prepare the documents. Maybe we wanted to grab some different documents from a patient's chart and prepare that to electronically send out of the database. We're going to do this by hopping over into the EMR. And we've already got a patient pulled up here with some different documents that we want to prepare. So looking at my patient's chart here, maybe I want to grab a copy of the last note, maybe I want to grab some lab results or whatever the documents may be. What we can do is we can actually open up that document. And when we navigate to print the document in the upper right-hand corner, this allows us the option to add it to the patient's fax queue. Or if we wanted to fax this individual document, we can do so by navigating to the upper right-hand corner where these 3 blue dots live and select the fax icon or the add to fax queue. So if we wanted to fax this individual document, we would select the fax icon. We'd fill out the appropriate fields and hit send. That would then send the fax out of the system. Maybe we had multiple documents though. Maybe we had that lab result and a past note and a scanned in document. We can add all of those individually to the patient's fax queue, and then we can navigate into the fax queue and fax all those documents at the same time. To gain some access to the fax queue, we're going to actually navigate into the toolbar at the very top of the screen to the patient dropdown. This allows us to gain access to the print/fax queue, where we can then choose the fax queue in the upper left-hand corner and then select the individual documents that we need to grab and then fax them out of the system. Again, that brings up that same send fax window where it would list out all of the individual documents that we've chosen to include in that fax batch, and then we can choose the recipients and send those out. That's going to complete our eFaxing training for today. If you have any additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our implementation team by emailing implementation@isaloshealthcare.com.